It is made a big trade, helping out the offense. That and so much more on this episode of the Purple Rain Podcast. Yes, welcome back to episode 275 of the Purple Rain Podcast, the Jonathan Ogden episode. Yes, the one and only number 75 to wear for our franchise. One of the best tackles of all time. Don't at me. Don't care. Go argue to your mother. But thank you for spending your Thursday evening, your Halloween evening with us, the Purple Rain Podcast. Maybe you're watching this while you're about to hand out candy. I was coming home, saw some people dressed up, saw Freddy Krueger. I saw Gandalf. A little weird, a little scary with the beard and everything on, but good costume nonetheless. But thank you for coming through to this episode of the Purple Rain Podcast. So much to talk about, so much to preview. But first and foremost, you can follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast. Follow this guy right here on Instagram, on X at Sutton Def. Follow me on Instagram at simplyas10.prod or on X at simplyas10. Most importantly, our sponsor, Manscaped. Go online, use code PRP for 20% off your whole entire order and free international shipping. The best deal on the internet. No ifs, ands, or buts. Take it from us. But thank you for coming through. Thank you for spending your night. And Sutton, how is your week going?
It's been a very interesting week, Alex, to say the least. Ravens have been making moves, or they've made one big move. We've had some guys held out of practice, so there's tons to talk about. I'm excited to get all into it. Before we do, though, I want to bring up who's on in the live chat here. We got K-Dog, Mod K-Dog, that is, to you. Giving the Manscaped shout out. Shout out to you, K-Dog. We appreciate you for coming through each and every time. A true Purple Rain pioneer. We got Tanja Bowman in the house. That's what's going on, PRP and the Flock family. SG says, yo, Purple Rain gang, love the Diontae Johnson acquisition, but we need defense, preferably pass rush or cornerback. Yes, sir. We're going to get into all of that. We're going to get into all of that, my man. So just stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. We got RJ Horry in the house. Let's go. We love it. I already hit that like button. Yes, sir. RJ already knows what time it is, man. If you're watching live right now, make sure you hit that like button. If you're not watching live right now and you happen to be part of the hashtag replay gang, thank you so much for coming out to this episode 275 of PRP. Make sure you like the video. Subscribe to the channel as well if you're new. Helps us out a ton. You guys already know how much that helps us out. So if you could, hit the like button, hit the sub. Let's get into some Ravens talk, though. Okay. So, Alex, since we last talked, the Ravens have made a splash move before the trade deadline. And on our last Thursday show, when we were previewing the Browns, we were talking about, you and I, we were talking about what we would like to see on this team. Me personally, as you and the rest of the viewers of the show might remember me saying I wasn't too keen on going out and getting a wide receiver before the trade deadline. I didn't really see how that would add significant, an emphasis on the word significant, value to this 2024 Ravens team. And you were saying that you would advocate for the Ravens bringing in a wide receiver, and you gave your reasons for it. And what ended up happening is the Ravens fulfilled your requests, right? They granted your wish. And they went out the other day and they traded for Diontae Johnson, Carolina Panthers, and former Pittsburgh Steeler. This one was surprising to me. I want to pass it off to you first because this is the first topic of the show. Do we like, love it, or hate it, the move with Diontae Johnson? And how can he help this Ravens offense? Alex, you take it away.
I like it. I do like it. I wasn't expecting Diontae, to be honest. I was expecting, somebody he brought up a lot was Mike Williams. It seemed like a very Ravens trade to get a guy who, coming off an I word, coming off of a poor season, and kind of, I don't want to segue too much, but if you could bet on this, I'd bet on Stephon Diggs being a Raven next year because he fits the mold of everything the Ravens love. Veteran guy coming off of an I word and on the decline. Just get out the way in case we talk about that. It's a Raven move. We've done it so many times before. But back to the Diontae Johnson trade. Caught me off guard. Was not expecting him. I was expecting a Mike Williams or maybe a guy a little, a wide receiver 3 or 4. To me, we got a wide receiver 2 who has wide receiver one potential, but he's not the build of the wide receiver one that I know me and you both would like. With that being said, we got another elite separator, a guy who has fixed the drop issues. Those are a thing of the past, I believe. Obviously, you have one here or there, but it's not the Diontae Dropson we saw in the Matt Canada Pittsburgh Steelers offense. And yeah, I like it. We have three guys who can separate very well, and a guy who, when I was watching his film, I went through a lot all of his Panthers games, went through the 2023 Steelers last year. This guy gets open. This guy knows how to find the soft spot in zone coverage, and that's something that I feel like we could use a lot of. A guy that will come back to the ball, a guy that plays Lamar Jackson's kind of game, a guy that will see, okay, my quarterback's scrambling, let me get open, let me find the open space. And that's kind of pushing it to a love it for me, but I'm not going to go there just because of the size. I want somebody 6'1", 6'2", 6'3". With that being said, Tez Walker is still not seeing the field. I'm not expecting him to be, a Calvin Johnson, but I'd love to see him get some opportunities. And we talked about it after the show. Could have put him on the field on the 4th and goal, a big body guy. No disrespect to Zay, but Zay probably won't be winning a jump ball in prevent defenses compared to a Tez Walker. But that's a whole another story. But right now, I like it. I definitely want to hear what you have to say, because I know you want an edge rusher, and believe me, I want an edge rusher as well, and maybe even interior lineman with the way the I-word's looking this week.
Yeah. I love all the things that you just said, and that's the reason why I'm kind of like, I like the trade. And the main reason why I do like the trade is for what SG says here. It was very cheap. We got very good value for Diontae Johnson. When you look at it, I mean, we traded away a 5th round pick, right? And we received a 6th round pick, Diontae Johnson. And oh yeah, by the way, we only had to pay $625,000 of his cap for the remainder of the season. The Panthers are going to take care of the rest. So we're basically getting him for pennies, right? The draft capital that we're giving up for him, definitely. I'm saying all this to say we kind of fleeced the Panthers for Diontae Johnson. And that's why I have to like it. If it weren't for that aspect of this trade, I would probably say that I hate it. Because it's a net positive for the offense. I do. But the reason why I would say that I hate it, and I'm gonna kind of flip-flop back and forth here between why I like it and I don't like it, but I lean more towards not liking the move or hating the move, because this is not where we need the help. I think everybody knows offense is not the problem with this Baltimore Ravens team right now. It's the defense, it's the secondary, it's the lack of pass rush, it's the miscommunication, it's the pre-snap confusion, it's all of that, right? It's a culmination of all of those things. And I think that the offense is just like, with this move, it's quite literally, the rich getting richer. I think that you're giving Todd Monken yet another weapon, who I think that it's good that we are kind of giving him this weapon mid-season, because it can evolve the offense and maybe take it to a place that we wouldn't even have imagined. Like, people are saying, oh, this Ravens offense has looked better than ever underneath Lamar Jackson right now. That's what they're saying right now. If you add in the Diontae Johnson, it may get better. I don't know. My thing is, there's only one football to go around, right? There's only one football to go around. And I think on average, maybe the Ravens were probably going to get maybe 7 to 8 possessions per game, somewhere around that number, right? So how often are we going to be using Diontae Johnson for him to truly be effective, and for this to truly be a trade of relevance and importance, right, for this season? That's where I'm kind of standing at. That's why I really don't like the move, because it just kind of comes off wrong. It's like weird to me that the Ravens went out and they prioritized the wide receiver. Now, it's not to say that they're not, actively looking for an edge rusher or actively looking for a cornerback or a safety, something like that. But the fact that they were more intentional about getting this deal done with the wide receiver. I don't know. Maybe the other teams aren't really budging too well. They're not willing to give away, part ways with their edge rushers, their other players, their DBs for pennies, like the Panthers are trying to trade away Diontae Johnson for. But I just hope we're not done. I hope we're not done. So I will say this. I think I lean more towards not liking the trade. I'll say that. But here's one silver lining. One silver lining is this. The Ravens run 11 personnel at one of the lowest rates in the National Football League right now, right? We're coming out in a lot of heavy sets, 2 tight ends, right? It makes the offense a little bit more predictable. And I think with getting a Diontae Johnson and being able to trot out 3 receivers on the field, have a Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, and Diontae Johnson out there at the same time, I think it gives the defense an extra element to this offense that they just have to worry about. And that's where I can say I kind of like the move. You know what I mean? Um, but yes, so it's kind of like it's a double-edged sword for me. It's two sides of the coin. I like it for certain reasons, but mainly I say I lean towards hating it just because the Ravens need to go out and invest just a little bit more in defense. And some people might kill me for saying that. I was watching the Lunch Break Hot Take show last night, and they are a fully defund the defense podcast. That's what they are. And fellas, if y'all are listening right now, shout out to y'all. Y'all come out with great content. Love you guys. But yeah, they're a defund the defense podcast, and that's just not me. You know what I mean? Like I think we need to invest in that defense, specifically pass rusher, because that's something that we're lacking right now, and we're definitely going to need it this week.
Yeah, and that's where some of my gripes with the EDC come, because it feels like we've been asking for an edge rusher, a dominant one, for a while. And you see this money, like we gave 70 million to a safety who got benched last week, or you give money to a Eddie Jackson who's been below par, below average by miles, and that's kind of where I'm at too with it. You know, I want us to get a guy. I'm looking at some potential targets. I see people say Calais Campbell. I'm looking at Carl Granderson from the Saints. 3 sacks, 4 fumble, a couple of QB hits, but we got to get at the quarterback, and we cannot rely on Kyle Van Noy to get us 2 sacks every game like we were the first couple of games. Got to see something from Owe, and yeah, I know that's my guy, and it's kind of been below par. And Ojabo, we gave his second-round pick, or got a second-round pick with you, and you're healthy scratch. Adisa Isaac, third-round pick, healthy scratch. Like at this point, F them picks, because they're obviously not working out. SG says Azeez Ojulari. Yes, he was a game wrecker against the Steelers. He was balling his ass off. And if you go back to 2021, that's the guy that both me and Sutton liked. It was between him and Owe and Jalen Phillips who went early. And I remember that we were talking about him, and I'm happy to see he's balling out now. I would love to trade for him. The Giants season right now, they're going nowhere. You know, the Commanders are riding hot, and the Eagles, you're not catching up with those two teams. So call them up, see what they want for him. I would love to see him in Baltimore. But yeah, give me an edge rusher, or get me a interior lineman, because the secondary, there's too much money in that secondary for it to be this bad. And I listened to what Zach Orr had to say, how he was bringing these blitzes, and if they were going to score fast, like that's not how it should be. You should want to hold them. This is Jameis Winston. It's Jameis freaking Winston. Hold him. Don't give him the respect that he's a Patrick Mahomes or a peak Aaron Rodgers. No. So I'm right there with you. If you can bring me one of those guys, and I think we do get somebody else. EDC is going to. We to me, we didn't lose a pick in the Diontae trade. We swapped picks, and if he leaves, so what? We get a conditional pick. Hopefully, he plays so good to the point where we could extend him. Who knows? That's the story down the line. But yeah, please get me some defensive help, because it is needed, and that's really where the weakness is, not this top 5 offense that we have.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree there. Like I said, again, man, net positive to get Diontae Johnson, because the things that you said a couple of minutes ago, fabulous route runner, right? Maybe not the archetype of receiver that we want in terms of like big body, big hands, that sort of thing. But this is a guy who can consistently get open against man coverage. He's a man beater. That's what we're looking at here with Diontae Johnson, and I think that's going to bode well for our offense. And I think Todd Monken, again, the rich get richer. I tweeted it yesterday on my on X. I said Todd Monken is such a spoiled offensive coordinator. Number one, to have a weapon like Lamar Jackson, and then to have Zay Flowers, and then multiple playmaking tight ends, Rashad Bateman, who's a route running savant. And then, add in Diontae Johnson. Oh, and I forgot about Derrick Henry and the Swiss Army knife of Justice Hill. Like, you've got damn near everything that you need outside of a solidified, and I'll say solidified, gelled offensive line. It's been shaky there a little bit as of late. The Falele talks are starting to heat up once again. But we'll have to see how that how that side of the ball comes together. But defense definitely is the focus, or what it should be. RJ in the house says, when the defense is clicking, the offense is going to be unstoppable because of the running game and one more extra weapon. Reminds me of the Bengals trio, that game the league fits, except we can run better. Yeah, man, it's literally just going to take a competent defense. It's not even going to take a top 5 defense, just a competent defense, right?
Yeah, and it's a defense that's turning up in the playoffs as well, which is why the Chiefs have won, back-to-back Super Bowls. Their defense turned up when they needed it the most. They turned up against us, held us at 10 points, turned up in the Super Bowl as well against the Niners when they had to get a stop. the defense got to stop. You know, when they had to get a sack against Brock Purdy in the red zone, here comes game record Chris Jones. And I don't want to sit here and have this uncomfortable conversation, but Mr. Madubuike, you're getting paid Chris Jones money. I know you're getting double team. We got to see some production. You know what I mean? Like, you get paid this
I
money,
don't
and you
think we
got
can
to we
put
got to
that
see
on
something from
BK
you.
though, because there's guys hurt on the defensive line too, so they're easily able to double him and kind of take him out of the game.
I mean, Chris Jones gets double teamed damn near all the time, and he's, you know, when he's single team, we saw what he did against us. So I want to see more from him. I'm not saying 13 sacks, but I do want to see more from him. And Roquan Smith, Roquan's fat. I hate to say it, but he really is. Like, I look at him out off the field. He looks a little chunky, you know, for a linebacker in the NFL. You know, you got to drop some weight, and it's just he's not playing nowhere near to where he was last year. Like, who needed who more, Roquan or PQ? Because Roquan in Chicago, all pro with nobody next to him, comes to Baltimore, it looks like a shell of himself. And he's not old. He's not in his 30s. He's still young. Like, it's just everywhere on this defense. So you get paid, and it's kind of just the fall off is insane. So everybody has to step up. They're not doing their job. And it feels like it's Kyle Hamilton and 10 other guys on this defense right now. And even then, you know, you put the ball in Kyle's hands, and unfortunately he dropped it last week, but that's not championship winning football. That is the Ravens of since 2012. Chokers, choke artists, not showing up at the big moment. So EDC, go and cook, get yourself a peaceful defense, and hopefully we play a lead offense and mid defense to, you know, to get us to the promised land.
Yeah, man. Again, just a competent defense is what's gonna kind of take us over the top, at least because the offense is so good, man. The offense is just at will, and it hasn't really looked like this at any point, honestly, in recent memory. Like, I have full confidence that whenever we touch the football, we can score a touchdown. And of course, that doesn't mean that we score on every single possession, but we do score touchdowns at some of the highest rates in the league per drive. So I think it's like 12% or 13% of drives the Ravens score a touchdown on. And that is actually, I think, top 3 in the league, if I'm not mistaken. I was looking at the numbers the other day. So we can score at will. We just need a defense who is going to be able to get off the field on third downs. And, you know, that's where your pass rush comes into play. So that's why I'm looking at EDC. Look, the ball is in your court. Diontae Johnson, cool. I love it. It's a net positive for the offense. It really is. But unless we plan on playing defense with our offense, which we've been doing in, you know, that 5-win stretch, we need to go out and get a guy who can get the quarterback on the ground, get home, and end drives, kill drives. That's what we need. That's what we need. So, again, EDC, balls in your court. I really do hope, and that we're not done. Cam the Baptist in the building. What's going on, brother? Says PRP, hashtag Purple Pain Gang, hashtag Replay Gang as well. Giving a shout out to the Replay Gang. Again, yes, if you're watching this episode, not live, but, you know, after the fact, hello, my name is Sutton Def. That's simply AS10. We are the Purple Rain Podcast. Maybe consider liking the video and subscribe to the channel, as well as we've got a lot more Ravens content and sports content in general coming your way. Okay. All right. All right. So I think it's time we can go ahead and transition and get into our preview portion of this episode. The Ravens have a big game coming up, 1 p.m. CBS. Feels like home. We're at home at the bank. You know, coming off of this loss, we're trying to get back into the win column. We're inviting the Denver Broncos to town. Bo Nick, Sean Payton, and the Denver Broncos to town with Cortland Sutton and their pass rush, Zach Allen, Nick Benito, who's been playing well. All these guys are coming to town, and it's going to be a tough game. I'm just going to preface this segment with that. This is going to be a tough game. I can't wait to break it down, but it is time for some ball talk. The Purple Rain preview brought to you by Manscaped. Here we go. So, first things first. Well, no, I don't want to get into this first, actually. You know what? iWord Report. Alex, you take it away. Then we'll get into the matchup breakdown.
Okay, cool. All right, so we were going to start off with the Broncos first because I think there's a lot more to talk about on the Ravens side. With that being said, for the Broncos, who has missed practice today, safety PJ Locke, and then tackle Mike McGlinchey is limited, along with fullback Mike Burton, Zach Allen, Pratt Surtain, everybody else. They're full. They're going to be ready to go. It's the Ravens, and from what looked like such a clean iWord report a mere week or so ago, it's now getting a little spooky. And I'm not just talking because it's Halloween, it's getting spooky. With that being said, all right, did not practice. Broderick Washington, Brent Urban, Travis Jones, 3 interior defensive linemen who we can all use did not practice today. And the other did not practice, not just today, but yesterday, Lamar Jackson. Harbaugh described it as rest, but it's coming out as a knee and back I word. Gut says they're resting him because we play Sunday and Thursday. Mine says it's something else. Hope the gut is right. So tomorrow is a big day. I think Lamar plays on Sunday. They said he was in good spirits in the locker room. Maybe he just had some bad oxtail pizza again. Who knows? We know he likes that crazy food. But tomorrow is definitely a big day, not only for the quarterback, but for that D line, because outside of that, it'll be Matabike and the guy who we just signed on the practice squad. Who knows? Maybe we see Pat Ricard playing some D tackle again.
Ooh.
I hope I'm wrong there. You know what I mean? But yeah, I hope Lamar is out there first and foremost, and hopefully at least 2 of those 3 guys are able to suit up with Michael Pierce going on the IR. So thoughts on that lovely I-word report?
Yeah, man. I mean, you hit the nail on the head, and so did SG. The interior of that D line looks rough, man. And honestly, it's one of the most annoying things to watch, and it's kind of second to watching the Ravens have zero pass rush and quarterbacks just drop back, hit their back foot, pat the ball, pat the ball, pat the ball, then go wherever they want to with it because they have all the time in the world to throw the football. The second worst thing is seeing a run defense that is just absolutely just nothing, getting ran through like Swiss cheese because of how banged up we are. Like it's and again, it's weird. I think we're lucky that the Browns did not decide to kind of like step on it when it came to the run game last week, because if they ran the ball a little bit more, they could have really ran us out of the building that day. Gave us a lot less possessions, but they decided to throw it. Want to know why? Because they could, right? And we could not stop it, So I, again, I don't necessarily think that we'll allow Javonte Williams to get over, whatever his over on his rushing yards are. We're still the number one rushing defense in the league, and I think we find a way to kind of stifle that part of it a little bit. But moving over to the Ravens and Lamar Jackson, I think it's rest. Like you said, we play Sunday, we play Thursday. Lamar Jackson is not a guy who needs to be practicing every day of the week. He's just not, right? Number one, he's a veteran. He's a 2-time MVP. MB3 may be loading. Give this guy his rest before a 2-game stretch, like that's back to back pretty much. Give the guy his rest. He's not going to forget how to play football. This guy is football. Like that's all he knows is football. When you watch him play, you can just tell like, oh, he's been doing this since he was like 4 years old, 5 years old, right? Because he looks like a little kid out there. Backyard football. That's exactly what it looks like, and he makes it look easy too. So I don't think that him needing to practice. I don't think he needs to practice. You know, every day. I'm okay with him missing back-to-back days like this, and I think that the knee and the back is just kind of like a smoke screen a little bit because again, we didn't see last week in the game any big hits or anything where he was kind of like favoring a knee or his back or anything like that. We didn't see none of that. That just came out this week. So I think it might be a little bit of a smoke screen. I wouldn't doubt it if going into week 9 that he's feeling ailments and here or there. I mean, it's football, right? But I don't think it's serious. I think he'll play.
Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm right there with you. So that's big. It's definitely a talking point now because he's missed 2 practices, but whatever. I guess he needs something to talk about. But now that is the Iowa report for the Ravens and the Broncos. So let's move on to the preview. So go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, so as you guys can see here, we have the Ravens versus the Broncos. How each team is doing in terms of passing yards allowed, rush yards, points per game, all that good stuff. As you guys can see on the left-hand side of the screen, the Ravens rank 5th in passing yards per game. They rank 1st in rushing yards per game. So pretty good offense, damn good offense, you might say. And just, the trend has been going on all season with this next one, giving up 291 through the air per game, which is ranked dead last in the league, and then only allowing 69 on the ground, which is ranked 1st. The Ravens are 2nd in points per game, and they're ranked 26th in points per game allowed. So again, the offense and the defense is just night and day. It's just night and day. And there are literal football experts who just cannot describe how this is going on right now. It's crazy to watch. Moving over to the Broncos side and how they've been doing so far this season, they are ranked 27th in passing yards per game. They're ranked 14th in rush yards per game. They're ranked 14th in passing yards allowed per game. They're ranked 7th in rushing yards allowed per game. They're ranked 20th in points per game with 21.6. And they're ranked 3rd in points per game allowed with 15 a game. So, Alex, when you look at this, these numbers here, what do you take away from it? Where do you think that we can kind of attack the Broncos, and what are going to be your biggest keys to victory for the Ravens to get back in the win column and go home 6-3?
Yeah, it's kind of the run game. I see their run game is good, but you haven't played a Derrick Henry yet, and I'm not going to sit here and act like he might be good to go, but Keaton Mitchell is a full participant in practice. Don't know if he'll be active for it. I know Rasheen Ali's back, but that's kind of another piece of this puzzle we can add to the offense if he's back. But I want to see us run on them to open up the pass because to me, Pat Surtain's a top 3 cornerback in this league. Could be the best. I'm not going to argue right now the rankings, but he is a damn good cornerback. So unfortunately, whoever is guarded by him is going to have a tough day. I don't know if that's Bate or if that's Zay, but hopefully we can open up one of the other guys who's on their 2 or their 3s. And, if we can get Henry going early, which he had 10 or 11 carries yesterday. I mean, last week, surprise,
11,
we lost 11. Like that's like 11 for Derrick Henry, who was putting up 100, spawning with 100 yards, basically.
Right.
You've got to use him more, and it's going to be a nice day at the bank on Sunday. So why not use your nice freight train on this defense and kind of test their will? Because right now our will got tested last week, not through the ground, but through the air. So give a different defense a little bit of the medicine we tasted last week. So I want to see this run game open up the pass game. So that's one of my keys. But what do you see from their defense or even their offense? Because that passing yards a game is not pretty for them.
Yeah, it's not. But I think that this is an offense that's kind of like growing its confidence. I think Bo Nix is getting better and better every week. I think he's getting more comfortable with Sean Payton, Sean Payton, and vice versa. Now, it's my thing here is going to be the pass rush. That's the biggest thing, and we'll go ahead and move on to our trenches slides here, and kind of talk about this a little bit. The pass rush for the Denver Broncos is actually very, very slept on. It's pretty damn good, as you guys can see on the chart here. They are in the top right quadrant, which means that they are sufficient in this category. Zach Allen and Nick Bonito have been playing very, very well as of recently. I think Zach Allen is getting the quickest pressures in the league on quarterbacks, or at least he's up there, maybe top 5 in that category. So that's going to be tough to watch out for. And then Bonito's been playing well too. And then if you look at the pass protection, for the Denver Broncos, when you couple them having a solid offensive line with us having a depleted defensive line, it scares me. It scares the hell out of me because it kind of tells me that, like, okay, we might get pushed around at some point in this game, and Bo Nix will it'll be target practice, just like it was for Jameis Winston, just like it was for Baker Mayfield at a point in that game, just like it was for Gardner Minshew and some others as well. Dak Prescott, we can go on and on. It's that really, really does concern me, and I'm afraid that this one is going to be another firefight, right? So if I had to give like my biggest key to victory, if I'm being completely dead honest with you, Alex, like dead honest with you, because I can't trust the defense to take another step forward this week. I mean, I have to see it to believe it. I got to see it first, right? I think one of the biggest keys to victory, like you said, getting Derrick Henry going, but Lamar's got to be perfect. It's unfortunate. We might not want to hear that, but Lamar Jackson has got to be perfect. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. It's going to be another shootout. But that's really my only key to victory. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, the interior D lineman's got to be, next man up. You guys got to stop that run, shut down that run. No, like we're depleted there. That is a hole. That's a gap right now. I can't really expect those guys to like put together 4 quarters of football when they're missing 2 to 3 starters on that defensive line. It's hard to expect that. It's really, really hard to expect that. And I like what Zach Orr said earlier today at the presser. He was saying that, we've got a really good plan in place to kind of fix some of these miscommunication issues and things like that. And I thought that was a net positive hearing that from him. I'd rather hear that than him say something, kind of cliche and casual, like, we're just going to keep chugging away at it, and hopefully our guys we can turn it around, that sort of thing. But it's good to hear that they're making changes. But again, man, my biggest key to victory, since I think that the defense will be so susceptible to this Bo Nix led offense, whether it be through the ground with Javonte Williams or through the air, Cortland Sutton and others. Lamar's got to be perfect. The offense has got to take advantage of every single opportunity. Todd Monken, do not squander big opportunities to score at any point in this game, but especially not early. If you got the 3 points, take it. If it's 4th and 3 or shorter, right, and we're in their territory, put the ball in Lamar Jackson's hands and call something to let him make it happen. No more plays where Lamar Jackson does not touch the football. Should be no plays in the playbook that happens. So that's going to be my biggest key to victory, man. The offense has really got to be perfect. Lamar's got to be on his game. Todd Monken's got to be on his game. The defense just has to give us something, right? Give us something in the secondary. Give us an interception or 2, right? It feels like we're at the point we need 2 turnovers to win. That's how bad the defense has been.
Yeah.
We need at least 2 turnovers. So that's the biggest key to victory for me. Do you have anything else, though?
No, that's a great point, because let's say they have 8 possessions. Just hypothetically, we need to get a turnover on 25% of those possessions to put us in a good position to win the game. That's not championship football. We can't trust this defense to make at least 6 of those or 5 of those stall against to a rookie quarterback. Bo Nix, and this is no disrespect towards him because he's not making the mistakes. He's playing smart. You can't do that. A rookie quarterback, like that's kind of show you just the drop off of this defense from last year. So I like what you said there. We are going to need picks. They're talking about how they were, on the jug machines at practice. Yeah, I'd hope so. After last week, all those drop picks, I'd hope you were, practicing on the catching. I mean, it goes to show you, if you have you build up a good trench in the NFL, you're going to be a successful team, no matter who you have around it. So you're 5-3. It's not a fluke. They're 5-3 for a reason. So pass rush, if they can get 3 or 4 sacks, I'd be surprised. I'm not expecting to get that much pressure, unfortunately.
Yeah. All right, let's see some of what you guys are saying here in the live chat. About 50 people watching live. Hello, thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode 275 of the Purple Rain Podcast. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. Eye of Horus Taurus, what's going on, brother? Says, stop Bo Nix, make him throw short passes. He gets greedy, and watch out for the play action bootlegs. They do it very often. I mean, this is going to be one where I think that the DBs, this is going to be another one where the back end is going to have to hold up for as long as possible, because like you said, I don't really expect a whole lot of pressure to be generated. Hopefully we can get like a Yannick Ngakoue going, maybe Odafe Owe kind of wakes up. Who knows? We'll see. But I don't think we're going to get a whole lot of pressure. So hopefully that means that these DBs aren't biting, right? And trying to crunch down, because like we saw last week, we can get beat over the top. But we mess around, we start sending too many blitzes. Zach Orr ran out of answers last week, and he started sending blitzes all over the place. 6 straight, to be honest with you. And then we just get hit over the top for the go-ahead touchdown. So got to be wary of that. That's a good point, Taurus. I really appreciate that. Says, let me see. SG says we're going to need a turnover from someone on defense to get the lead. Might be one of those games. Yeah, SG, like we said, we're going to need 1 to 2 turnovers, And I think if we catch maybe 2 of those picks last week, we win that game, especially the one at the end of the game. But we're going to have to execute on those picks. Jugs machine all day.
Yeah, I have a bold prediction for this game.
Sure.
Very bold. Marcus Williams interception.
I
think it's gonna be a FU to Harbaugh. I don't know if that's really who his problem's with, but this is why you should have played me. This is why. I know he has been awful this year, but maybe him sitting on that bench for the whole game last week and seeing that drop picks, if your positioning was better and you were in that position, he's catching them. He's catching the one in the end zone, and he's catching the deep ball that went through Eddie Jackson's hands. I have no doubt about it. No matter how hard they are, he is a ball hawk. I think this week he definitely, fixes it up and gets a pick. Center fielder range comes out, he's on one side of the field, hawks it down, sees it the whole way and picks it off. Ed Reed-esque, not calling him Ed Reed, but kind of the one that's the interceptions we saw many times for Ed Reed, kind of baiting the quarterback, coming through and just picking it off out of nowhere. I need that. So I think it happens.
Yeah, would love to see it. Would absolutely love to see a huge bounce back moment, really, for Marcus Williams. Really been a lot of speculation around him, maybe potentially getting traded. That's what I personally thought. With him being not necessarily a healthy scratch because he did suit up, but he did not get in the game, did not play.
Yeah.
He declined to answer questions at interviews this week, deactivated his Instagram, the whole 9 yards. So
Oh, he deactivated?
yeah, yeah,
Wow, I didn't know that.
yeah.
Wow.
So it's hopefully he can have a big bounce back moment like that. That would be really, really cool to see. But yeah, I think it's time for us to go ahead and get into our score predictions though.
I think it
We
is.
gotta get a score prediction for this one. I'll start. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a tough game, man. And as much as I think that the Ravens could definitely drop this one, just based off of our trenches right now. The D line is banged up. The secondary has not proven to me that they can be consistent and even executing turnovers. The offense has to be perfect, which I think that they will be very good. And at home, they might be a little bit better, and the defense might be a little bit better. So I think that's what gives us the edge in this one. I still think it's going to be a high scoring game. Give me the Ravens 39-36.
If we give up 36 points to this Broncos team, I don't want to hear about no Super Bowl talk. That's yeah. 36 points to them to Bo Nix is crazy. At home, come on now. I'm gonna go Ravens 27-17. I do think we win it, but I think it's close the whole game, and we kind of get some Lamar magic in the end. It'll be like 20-17, and we have a drive in the fourth quarter, and we score a touchdown and put it out of their way. So give me the Ravens 27-17, but it's not like we were up the whole game. It's close. It's a close game. But yeah, give me that. But going back to yours, if they score that many points, there will be some even bigger eyes looking at Zach Orr in this defense. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, man. Kogan S says if we give up 30 plus, win or lose, we got to make a change at defensive coordinator.
Yeah,
I think it's fair to talk about it.
crazy.
It's fair to talk about it. I mean, you at least have to have the conversation. The only problem is, with how the Ravens run their organization, they would not pull the trigger on a move like that mid-season. I just don't see it. The last time we did something that drastic mid-season was what? Cameron?
Yeah, won the
Yeah,
Super Bowl.
and we won the Super Bowl that year. So, um, we'll have to see. I don't think it happens in season, but I mean, SG follows it up here. Says Or needs to get a serious look if we give up 36. I can just see it, man. With the depleted
I'm
defensive
sorry,
line, even if we get up early,
Mark
right?
Mark Trestman. That was the last one. Mark freaking Trestman.
Oh, right. Yeah. You're right. Um, but yeah, like even if we get up early, I still do think that as the game goes on, that defensive line gets tired, and that secondary gets a little bit tired. I can see Bo Nix kind of picking up the pace and dialing up calls and plays against the blitz. It's gonna be tough. What I saw him do against Carolina last week, and I know it's Carolina, but the kid looked good. The kid looked competent, and he can definitely replicate that same sort of success against his Baltimore defense if we do not fix some of these issues that we've been having in our secondary, the miscommunication, the over blitzing, kind of like late in games. We got to fix some of that. We got to clean that up. But yeah, that's our score predictions for this game. If you are watching live, make sure you drop your score predictions in the chat. If you're not watching live and you're part of the hashtag replay gang, make sure you drop your score predictions down below in the comments. We'd appreciate it. SG says Bo is also a threat running the football as well. It's another thing. Got to keep him contained. You never know. He might try to take it
Yeah.
up the gut. With a tired and depleted defensive line, that's just asking for him to kind of run it up the gut for first downs late in game. We cannot make this a dogfight. We cannot make this a damn dogfight because I can see us losing it. I can see us losing it.
Yeah.
Now, I think that we pull it out at the end. I think that, the crowd on our side and the crowd noise and everything like that, M&T Bank Stadium for a rookie quarterback is no walk in the park. No walk in the park. So I think we turn it up, and you'll be at the game, right?
I will be there.
Yeah. So get loud for us. Get loud for us, Alex. You and whoever you're going with, get loud for us and really put on because we're gonna need it. We're gonna need all the decibels in that building.
Yeah, I definitely will, and I'm glad Ashley brought the running. He ran for 60 yards on 6 attempts and 75 on 10 attempts against the Chargers and Saints, respectively.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it just I hate it because we're Ravens fans. Like we know how these games go, and it, this is a Bo Nix hate watch in person for me because I wasn't big on him coming out of Oregon. I didn't think it was gonna be anywhere close to as good as he's been, but I want to see him have an absolute awful game, like a welcome to the NFL game. I'm talking about like less than 100 yards. Like this is the Ravens defense, not to go on another rant, but like I want to see it. And shut him down early and often. Javonte Williams, I am scared about because he took Marlon for a 20-yard ride last time we played them. That was in Denver.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but last time we played them was when some things happened.
Yes.
I'm not gonna say what happened.
Saltiness.
The Prochet pass picked off by Justin Simmons in the triple coverage that happened. Yeah, can we have the complete opposite of that? I want walk in the park. I want everyone healthy. So yeah, I will be loud. I probably will lose my voice, but I'll have fun, and most importantly, I hope to bring home a dub.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. I think it's time for us to go ahead and get into our weekly picks. If I'm not mistaken, we can go ahead and get into some picks for this episode of the show. Let me go ahead and pull those up really quickly for us. This is week 9 of the NFL season, man. It feels weird. Yeah, exactly. It feels weird that we're already, this far along in the year. Thanksgiving is like right around the corner. We're already at Halloween, so we've got some work to do. The Ravens do, that is. The Ravens have some work to do in order to kind of get into the playoffs and have good seeding. I think that the 1 seed, of course, is a little bit too far gone at this point, as the Ravens have already dropped 3. The Chiefs have no losses to this point in the season, so it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, but man, I think we can make it work. Alex, what say you?
Yeah, I think so. And I hope we can make these picks work because last week, it was all right. It wasn't the best. It was all right. It wasn't 100% from the week prior for you or the damn near 80% from me. It was 67%. 2 out of 3. All right. I'm not happy with that. I want 3 out of 4 or better. I want 75% or better. And you know what? I think that happens this week. I'm confident in our picks this week. So why not hit the music? Let's make some picks. I think it's time.
All right. Let's do it. Week 9 picks. Let's get it.
Starting off tonight, the Texans and the Jets. Texans are underdogs. No Nico Williams, no Stephon Diggs. Spooky hours for them. The 2-6 Jets, favorites over the 6-2 Texans. I don't care. Give me the Texans. Give me the Texans this game. I think they win. I think they put the final nail in the coffin on Halloween to the Jets' abysmal season.
Jeez, man, that's a tough one. That is a really, really tough call. And you said it's in New York, right?
Yeah, it's in New York.
Give me Houston in this one. I just think that they're the overall better football team. I think that the Jets are in a different type of turmoil than the Texans are in right now. I think that the Texans know that they'll be okay, in the long run. But the Jets are just kind of like a dumpster fire right now because they're what they thought was going to be such a Cinderella story with Aaron Rodgers coming in and now he's got Devontae Adams and the coach he wants and everything. Well, maybe not the coach he wants, but not the coach that he doesn't want. And everything was going to be peachy keen, but it's not. They're 2-6, and this is a desperation game for them. And I can see them dropping that as well. I see them having lapses in focus at home. Give me the Texans.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Moving on, the Saints and the Panthers. Talk about a freaking toilet bowl. The Saints, who started off 2-0, lost 6 straight. The Panthers, I believe, on a 5-game losing streak as well. This is a weird one, and I kind of want to pick the Panthers just because they're kind of due to win, and the Saints are just that bad, and with a lot of I words. And I'm going to pick the Panthers to win this game. They have guys now who are just playing to play. Some are playing for a trade, and some are just playing for maybe a new contract or just to show out. Give me the Panthers with literally nothing to play for. I like them winning this game.
Give me the Saints in this one.
All right, moving on next to the Commanders and the Giants. Commanders.
Yeah, give me the Commodores in this one as well, man. That Hail Mary from Jaden Daniels in the Commanders last week was absolutely unreal. honestly kind of felt like it was adding insult to I words for us Ravens fans. It was a slap in the face. That's what it felt like after losing that 1 p.m. game and then watching them have that photo finish. That was just, elating. I was jealous, but I was kind of happy for Commanders fans at the same time. But yeah, in this one, I'll take the Commanders over the Giants.
Next up, heading down to Orchard Park at the Bills and the Dolphins. I like the Bills in this one.
Yeah, I like the Bills in this one too. The Dolphins really let us down last week, man. Thought that they were going to be able to pull it out against Arizona. Couldn't quite make it there. But yeah, the Bills are riding high right now. Josh Allen is firmly back in the mix as an MVP candidate, right there with Lamar Jackson and others. Give me the Bills.
Chargers and the Browns up next. 4-3 Chargers, and guess what? I'm picking them over the Browns just to make the loss last week look even worse.
Give me the Browns. Give me the Browns in this one. I think that they upset the Chargers. I think that they do just enough to kind of stifle the run game. Greg Roman, of course, familiar with the Browns defense, but the Browns defense familiar with Greg Roman and what he wants to do. So I think that Jameis Winston, he's just a lovable guy. As much as I want to hate him for beating my team last week, he is such just a fun, hilarious guy to just listen to in every single interview. And I think that they continue to ride the hot hand that Jameis Winston has right now, coming off of 334 yards and 3 touchdowns versus the Ravens. I think that they ride that against the Chargers. Give me the Browns.
Yes. Next up, the Patriots and the Titans. Give me the I don't know. This is actually a harder one. 2-6 and 1-6. I'm like, well, Drake May is playing. No, he's in concussion protocol. So I think it was the Mason Rudolph versus Jacoby Brissett show. Wow, that's another toilet bowl right there.
Definitely another toilet bowl for sure.
Give me the Titans, and I think maybe Calvin Ridley makes one big play. I don't know. This is a toss up for me. I'll take the Titans.
Yeah, I was going to take the Titans as well in kind of like a low scoring, kind of uglier game. Yeah, give me Tennessee in this one.
Moving on, the Cowboys and the Falcons. And Dak coming out today saying this is kind of a make or break game for them. Falcons are no pushovers, 5-3, and the Cowboys 3-4. This is another one. Like, I'm here with the Cowboys. Like, you don't have a running game. How are you going to win? So I'm going to go with the Falcons. I think Bijan will be the X factor because he'll actually run the ball on the ground or Algier. So give me the Falcons to kind of put a early end to the Cowboy season.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Falcons in this one too. It seems like the Cowboys are just spiraling right now in just all senses. Jerry Jones is kind of talking out the side of his neck about this and that. You've got Trayvon Diggs and Michael Parsons sitting on the podcast talking about how they're getting outcoached, like literally on their podcast talking about how they're getting outcoached by the 49ers. And I could totally see the same thing happening this week as well. So yeah, give me Atlanta.
All right, next up, the Bengals and the Raiders in Cincy. Give me the Bengals in a bounce back game, and thank you, Asmodeus. Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas to you. Early Merry Christmas. Give me the Bengals in this one, but if they do lose, man, I saw Jermaine Burton already kind of shaded the offense. Now their rookie receiver getting a little spooky in Cincinnati as well. I'm just going to tell you that right now. So if they lose this one, all eyes on them. I think they squeeze it out against the Raiders.
Yeah, same. I think that they just have a little bit more to play for right now. They're scratching and clawing to stay alive in this playoff hunt. So yeah, give me the Bengals.
Moving on to the 4:00 window, the Bears and the Cardinals in Arizona. Once again, I don't know what Cardinals show up, what one is going to show up. They had a good win last week against the Dolphins, and you have the Bears coming off that heartbreaking loss. But up into the fourth quarter, they had no offense. Is that offense going to show up from the Bears? I don't know. I'm going to go with the Cardinals. Home field advantage being a factor, and it seems like they're finally using Marvin Harrison Jr. the correct way. So give me the Cardinals in this one.
I'm going to go Bears in this one. I think that you get a pissed off Bears team going to Arizona. They really should not have lost that game last week against the Commanders. But their defense played really well. I think that the offense will come back around to what they were doing in the weeks prior to that. And Caleb Williams kind of shows you why he is, right now, the second best rookie quarterback in the league. Give me the Bears.
Yes. Next up, the Eagles and the Jags in Philly. Give me Philly.
Yeah, easy one here. Give me the Eagles.
All right, next up, the Rams and the Seahawks. The Seahawks who got absolutely bent over Delta ass. Like, I think they still have like the markings on their butt cheek from the whipping the Bills gave them. That was bad.
Yeah.
They have a chance to bounce back against a divisional rival in Seattle. Mike McDonald, man, if you want to come on back, you can just say the word. I'm going to go with the Rams in this one. I think this is the last game of Geno Smith. I think we see Sam Howell next week.
I'm going to go Rams as well too in this one. I don't know about the whole benching Geno Smith thing so soon. I don't know if Mike McDonald pulls that trigger. It'll be interesting to watch, but yeah. Dang, it's kind of tough for me now.
Yeah.
No. Do I want to take the Seahawks? No, you know what? I'm not taking the Seahawks. I stick with my pick.
Okay. Hey, this is the Rams that beat the red hot Vikings and that amazing Brian Flores defense last week.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
Exactly.
Cup and Puka back, showing you why they're a good one too, one of the best in the league. Moving on now, Lions and the Packers, good NFC North matchup. You know who I'm rocking with. I don't care if it's in Green Bay. Give me them knee freaking munchers. Give me them. Bite your kneecaps
Yeah, they're
off.
biting off
Give me the
kneecaps. This is going to be a fabulous game. Late window. What is this, prime time?
I think this is gonna have Brady and Burkhardt.
Okay, so it's 4:00 game.
But it's 4:25.
Okay, got you. Yeah, let me go with. Oh man, Detroit's been looking like world beaters recently, and it's in Detroit, right?
No, it's in Green Bay.
Ooh, it's tough. Let me go Detroit. I just think that they'll outscore them. Or this could be one of those. Maybe they only get into like the 20s, early 30s, that sort of thing. Give me the Lions, though. This is a tough one. I might regret that, but I'm going to go with the Lions.
Okay. Moving on to our Sunday night game. This one we can talk a little about if you want to. The Vikings and the Colts. And this isn't just any Colts. This is the Joseph Vincent Flacco-led Indianapolis Colts now. Anthony Richardson, bench. Not even not hurt, not inactive because of something else. Benched.
Yeah.
Top 5 overall pick. Benched. I still like the Vikings to win this game. I think they bounce back. I think Darnold bounces back. I think Aaron Jones will have a good game. But man, Colts, I'm a little confused. Obviously, he wasn't the best, but I'm wondering about the confidence of Anthony Richardson now. You know, that's got to be a thing you got to look at.
Yes, for sure. I think that it's very unfortunate that he only has 10 NFL starts, and he is literally like the same age pretty much as like Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward and some guys who are still in college right now, and he's just kind of getting plucked from his starting position. But I think he would have been fine had he not tapped out of the game last week. I mean, he just gave the Colts a reason, right? To just kind of say, okay, you're getting tired. Obviously, okay, we don't think you're ready for this. Let's go ahead and go to Joe Flacco while we think we still have a chance in this season. We don't want to punt on the season with a guy who's clearly not ready to lead the franchise. And they needed a reason to kind of make that move, and they got their reason. So I don't know if nobody told him not to tell the media that he was tired. Because I'm sure when he went over to the sideline on that third down, right, I think it was like 3rd and 20 or something like that, he taps out, goes to the sideline. I'm sure the athletic trainers and the coaches were asking him, hey, what's wrong? Are you okay? What's going on? And if he said hey, I'm just a little winded, I'm tired. You're telling me that the quarterback's coach does not go up to him and give this man a stern talking to, hey, look, you're in the NFL. You can't be doing this. You put it all out on the line for these guys. I mean, these guys put it all on the line for you. Your offensive linemen, they don't get to say that they're tired and come out of the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's and for damn sure, don't get on that podium after the game saying that you're tired. This is one of those rare instances where you lie, kids. You lie in this instance, okay? I tweeted it myself. I said, look, go up there and tell them that, you were nauseous for a play. You felt like you were about to puke. You had to come out for a play. Then you come right back in. People can understand that. They can get behind that. But when you just say, hey, man, I ain't gonna lie, I was tired out there. Bro, what? Nobody else. That is unprecedented. It just doesn't happen. You know what I mean? It doesn't happen in this league. You're a professional for a reason. You get paid millions of dollars for a reason, and they just found their reason to bench you. So this is Joe Flacco's time now, and I'm saying all this to say, I do have the Colts in this game beating the Vikings. I think that the Vikings are a little bit fraudulent, just a little bit. I think that they are an extension of what the Saints were. They started off 2-0, the Saints did. I think the Vikings kind of extended that success a little bit, and now they're coming back down to earth. I think we see it this week. I think Flacco has a big game. JT has a big game. A lot of people think that the Colts were only a quarterback away, and they had good success when Flacco was playing. So give me the Colts in this one.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think the Vikings are fraudulent. I just think Jay Chet is just too freaking good. But I have the Vikings, you have the Colts, so it'll be fun to watch. It's not like a clash of two giants primetime game, but I think it'll be a good primetime game nonetheless. Moving on, our final game of the week, Buccaneers Chiefs, Super Bowl rematch from years back. But I got the Chiefs in this one. They're gonna go 8-0 in Arrowhead.
Yeah, I mean, the cruise control Chiefs. They are literally 7-0 right now. Probably about to be 8-0 after this Bucs game. I'm going with the Chiefs as well in this one. Full disclosure, man, it's just wow. That week 1 loss really does sting for sure. Knowing that like we had the first opportunity to blemish these guys' schedule, blemish their record, and we couldn't do it. And now we look up, they're 8-0, and nobody's even really talking about the Chiefs. The Chiefs are like in their own league right now. When you like listen to like sports media and stuff like that, nobody else even talks about the Chiefs. They kind of talk about all the other teams together. But then it's just like, oh, off in far away land, we know the Chiefs are going to be in the Super Bowl. So just prepare for that. But we'll see. We'll see what happens in the playoffs. But what's our Monday night game, or is that it?
That was it. That was the Monday night game. So
okay.
That is
cool.
Oh, well, some news happened while we were live.
What's that?
It's not football related or sports related. Young Thug is coming home. I just saw that. So that's cool
wow.
to see. Yeah.
That was probably the last thing that I expected you to say just now, Alex, to be honest with you. Yeah. Wow, cool. I mean, well, shoot. I don't really know what's going on with that whole case situation. I know a lot of people will be happy to know that Young Thug is coming home. They've been saying free Jeffrey, free Thug, all that.
Yeah.
So cool.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
I went on Twitter to look at something. I see that. So, but yes, that's our picks for tonight. And I did check on FanDuel. The Ravens props have not been released yet. I know our ladder challenge is NFL based, but we always check the Ravens first. And so I think if we were to have one, we'll put it on Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah, we'll put it on Instagram. We'll put it on Twitter as well. So far, this is going to be week 3 of the ladder challenge. So we turned 10 to 20, then we turned 20 to 40. We're going to try to turn 40 into whatever we can get this week. So make sure you stay tuned to the Purple Rain Podcast Instagram account, as you guys can see right down there. Go ahead and follow us on Instagram. That's where we're going to be able to see our play when it drops. It's going to drop either maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, maybe Saturday. Make sure you stay locked into our Instagram. And yeah, I think that kind of does it for this episode of the show, as we're about an hour in almost. I do see a couple of questions I just want to bring up here. Let me see. Jabari says, do you guys think Richardson will ever be a starter again? Yeah, I think so. Because he's got some tools. He's got a good deep ball. Of course, he can run. He's just got to get way more experience. The only problem is, in order for him to kind of even be useful right now in producing for that Colts offense, he has to run. And in order for him to run, he has to put himself in harm's way. And, how can he develop as a passer if he's always hurt? Because he's running to try to get his team to win. But I do think he'll start again. Not sure if it'll be for the Colts, but Alex, what do you think?
Yeah, I think he will. I think he has too many just athletic ability, and they call him a freak athlete. For him not to at least get a chance taken on him. So yeah, I think he'll be starting again. I think he'll be starting again this year, maybe. Who knows what Joe does? But if I'm now looking at the Colts, look at them Colts tight ends, fantasy value wise, they're gonna go high up because Joe loves his tight ends. Freaking balled out with Njoku last year, and even Pittman, Alec Pierce, those guys. So the Colts have weapons for him to work with. Let's just see if he can. And Yes, I just don't think they have the defense though that the Browns had last year. So they're 4-4. Season is nowhere near over for them, and the way the division is looking,
Right.
who knows what the Texans do now? If they lose tonight, 6-3, you win. You're 5-4. You're a game behind them. So best of luck to them. Hopefully, we don't have to run into them.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let me see. Ahmad K-Dog says, Sutton, who you got? Moreno or Albazi this week? I got my boy Moreno, man. I love me some Brandon Moreno. I just love the kid's personality, and he's like one of those guys where like he can switch it on and off so quickly. Like he's the nicest guy outside of the octagon. Like you can never tell that this guy's a fighter. You can tell he's a great family man, a great friend, just a great man overall. But when he gets in that cage, man, when he gets in that octagon and they lock that door shut, he turns into an absolute animal. Give me Moreno in that one. It's just mainly because that's my boy. That's my boy, K-Dog. But yeah, yeah. So okay, I think we're gonna go ahead and leave it there for this episode 275 of the Purple Rain podcast. I didn't even notice that you had the 75 over your shoulder right there, the Jonathan Ogden. Shout out to you, Alex. Looking fantabulous right there behind you.
Yes.
Like we led the show with, follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast. You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at Sutton Def. You can follow him on Twitter at SimplyAS10 and on Instagram at SimplyAS10.prod. And then you can also go on Manscaped.com. The holidays are right around the corner. Black Friday coming up. Go on Manscaped.com. Put in our code PRP at checkout. You're going to save yourself 20% off. Plus, you get free international shipping on all sorts of very, very cool and innovative, might I say, items from Manscaped. So make sure you guys go ahead and check that out. And yeah, listen, stay tuned for the ladder challenge because we're trying to turn 10 into 10,000. We're still on the road, right? We're still on the road to that 10,000. So make sure you stay locked in to that, so you can have a chance to win. But again, thank y'all for coming through to this episode of the show. He says Derek Lewis is also fighting. I forgot about that. Manscaped's going to help him keep his balls cool. Yeah, when your balls get too hot, Manscaped. Derek Lewis knows all about it. He knows all about it. But yeah, like we love the show. Thank you guys for coming through. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel as well. We'd appreciate that. And with that being said, I'm gonna let my guy Alex take us out.
Yes, thank you for coming through to episode 275 of the Purple Rain Podcast. As always, stay positive. That's negative.
Yes, and never, ever, ever, ever forget, even on the rainiest of days, to call God. It's been episode 275 of PRP. We're gonna catch you guys